Chapter 3, Mishnah 9. This final Mishnah discusses the laws of possible Orlah and Kilei Kerem. That is, fruit that may be Orlah or Kilei Kerem, but we do not know for sure. Generally, when there is a discussion whether something is prohibited, we must be strict about it if we are dealing with a biblical prohibition, and we may be more lenient about it if we are dealing with a rabbinic prohibition. In regards to Orlah and Kilei Kerem, the Mishnah will teach that there is a difference between Eretz Yisrael and outside of Eretz Yisrael. We now turn to the words of the Mishnah. Possible Orlah, that is, fruit that may have come from an Orlah tree, but we do not know for sure, is subject to the following law. If the fruit grew in Eretz Yisrael, is forbidden. Since the Orlah prohibition is a biblical one, when there is a doubt about it, we must act strictly and prohibit it. But if the fruit grew in Syria, which is only rabbinically considered part of Eretz Yisrael, it is permitted to buy fruit that may be possible by Orlah, that may possibly be Orlah, as long as we do not buy it from a field that is known to contain some Orlah trees. And outside of Eretz Yisrael, the law is even more lenient. A Jew may go down to a field that has both Orlah and non-Orlah trees, and buy fruit that was already picked by a non-Jew, as long as he does not actually see the non-Jew gathering the fruit from the trees. Since it is not clear that the fruit came from the Orlah trees, he may buy it and eat it. However, if he sees him pick the fruit, he may not buy it. This is a rabbinic stringency. The Mishnah now discusses a similar law with regard to the prohibition of Kilei Kerem. If there is a vineyard that was planted with vegetables, causing those vegetables to become prohibited as Kilei Kerem, and vegetables are being sold outside the vineyard, and we do not know if they came from this vineyard or from somewhere else, the law is as follows. In Eretz Yisrael, the vegetables are forbidden. Since the prohibition of Kilei Kerem in Eretz Yisrael is a biblical one, when there is doubt about it, we must act strictly and prohibit it. But if the possible Kilei Kerem vegetables grew in Syria, they are permitted, because the prohibition of Kilei Kerem in Syria is only rabbinic. And when there exists a doubt involving a rabbinic prohibition, we may act leniently. And outside of Eretz Yisrael, the law is even more lenient. A Jew may ask a non-Jew, go down and gather vegetables on his behalf, even though they may be Kilei Kerem, provided that the Jew does not pick with his own hand. The Mishnah now defines the law for a number of produce-related prohibitions outside Eretz Yisrael. Chadash is prohibited by the Torah everywhere, even outside of Eretz Yisrael. Orlah is prohibited outside of Eretz Yisrael by a halacha leMoshe Sinai, which has the status of Torah law. But kilayim of the vineyard, Kilei HaKerem, is prohibited outside of Eretz Yisrael only by rabbinic enactment.